within and surrounding Baltimore. Don't ask him about preseason games, oh no. Stuffing things in Griffin Basso. Despite it being on the internet, he can call it what he wants, so Glenn Clark Radio. Glenn Clark Radio. Glenn Clark Radio. Duke sucks.
You wanted to play a clip, didn't you? That's okay. We can still play it. I don't think we want to play that, do we? I don't know what that is. What am I looking at?
I don't know what I'm looking at either.
Well, that's weird.
First one I've ever seen.
Well, can we still see us? Is that an option?
I'm working on it.
Okay. I don't know what's going on right now. This is the. I wonder how many times things like this happen, and I just don't know because before now I had never.
This is the first time I've seen this one.
I had never seen the screen, and maybe it's not actually a problem. Maybe everybody's got something very normal. Well, that doesn't seem right.
Yeah,
There we
talked
are.
to Josiah yesterday.
There we are. Now, what were you doing?
I don't know. I was trying.
No, but
to
you
play,
were trying to
I
show
wanted to
everybody
play,
Tyler Wells from last night.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
can we still do that?
We
or
can. I just need like 15 seconds.
Are we nervous that like it might set off the space-time continuum all over again? That's the part that concerns me, is that perhaps there's a bigger problem here, that like we are messing with the universe in some sort of way, a butterfly effect situation, if you will. Like Ashton Kutcher and Ethan Suplee are going to come down and say, no, you're not allowed to do that. It's Glenn Clark Radio, I promise. And we're gonna have a show, and this was the idea, is that we were going to start things off by talking about Tyler Wells and the Orioles winning last night, which is nice. But, oh, by the way, where's Emmanuel Rivera?
What about?
Where is he? Because he's supposed to be right there.
I thought you said we were not doing that anymore.
Next week, I said we're not. How's the progress coming on the new board?
There's a new board? Like an audio board? I'm down for that.
Boy, we got a lot of problems around here. All right, we're going to start cutting the show down to 30 minutes each day.
That'll do it.
So that we can spend more time nailing the show. I was like, man, we're feeling good. We got stuff to do today. I almost kind of don't want to do it now. I kind of just want to bag it all. Can I be honest? Like
Bag what? Bag
the whole thing.
The whole show,
thing.
period?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Permanently.
You know what really threw me off?
What?
Is that we did go live, and then you were like, hey, I need you to run out there and grab this thing.
You think that's what it was?
That's what it was.
I
mean, I had everything
that
in my
sounds like
mind,
some serious excuse
and
making
then,
on your part.
Because then I went out there and I
That
was like,
sounds like
he said
some serious.
T-shirt. The box on top.
And
though, is
today's the day that
long
Andrew
sleeves.
Stetka chose to listen, and this is what you're giving him. You're giving him this. This is the product
I'm not
for
worried
Andrew Stetka.
I'm not worried about letting down Andrew Stetka.
I thought we did better. I thought I could expect more for Andrew Stetka. No one else. I don't care what anybody else gets. They can all suffer through this. I thought we would do better for Andrew Stetka. Orioles win last night, 6-2 over the Padres. That was pleasant. They win a series no matter what happens today. So there's that. Emmanuel Rivera is man of the match, but imagine what he would look like if he were on the board. Like
I mean,
imagine
that beard would be impeccable.
to try to draw a picture
Does
of him.
he?
I guess.
Will he have the best beard of anyone on the?
I don't want to attempt to draw
Of
Emmanuel
anyone on the
Rivera.
board?
I don't want to do that. Are we gonna put Emmanuel Rivera on the board?
I mean, I'd like to. Yeah.
Well, that's on you.
I mean, I wish I could just snap my fingers.
No, I
and it'd be
understand, but
done.
I'm not asking. Is it happening now? This is the thing where you're getting defensive instead of just saying yes, I'm working on it. This is the eternal.
I mean, sorry. Okay.
the eternal.
I didn't
post-millenn-
realize.
No.
I'll
no.
communicate. I
No,
thought
no.
you would just assume, like when I do
no,
realize that
no.
I'm behind something.
Right.
That
That's
I just
you
jump
can
on
just
it.
say it. It's okay. I promise you.
All right.
Like they don't
I mean,
cast.
You're gonna get a lot of working on it moving forward now.
You don't
because
get you
I'm
don't
always
get
working
cast
on
down
everything.
upon it. Yes, I'm working on it.
Working on
yes,
it.
I'm going to get it there. Yes.
Do you want to do this
I
while I grab it,
recognize.
or
Very, very defensive. It's okay.
I got to remember it's Glenn Clark Radio.
Life will go on, but you just don't need to be this defensive. Emmanuel Rivera, two out, 2-run singles last night. And the 2 out part of it stands out to me as much as anything because, God, I didn't know you were allowed to do that. I didn't know you were allowed to get hits with 2 outs in spots. And yet, that's exactly what Emmanuel Rivera did twice last night with runners on second and third base, and it ends up being the difference in the game. His 4 RBI lift the Orioles to the 6-2 win. Now, there's not much to take from Emmanuel Rivera having a nice night. He's not part of this. He's just here.
Unless.
Yeah. Tyler Wells maybe could be part of it moving forward.
You're telling me when he skips those throws from third every single time, it doesn't get you going?
No, it doesn't really do anything for me. Tyler Wells could be part of it. We'll see in what capacity if he were to be part of it. And last night he returned for the first time, pitched for the first time in 2025, and looked pretty good. Tyler Wells finishes 5 innings, and there was some question about whether or not he should have finished the 5th, but he did. Allowed 5 hits, no walks, 2 earned runs on the Luis Arias home run. Pretty good all around from Tyler Wells last night, and he was obviously, as you would imagine, very excited about it as he came off the field, and he talked about it post-game, and this is courtesy of Masson.
You know, it's one of those things, like it's kind of a glory to God moment, because you kind of sit there and you start to kind of play the whole journey back in your head over and over on kind of everything that took place over this last, I think I saw someone say 508 days, which it's crazy how fast time flies. But you just kind of replay it in your head, and you're just kind of like taking a deep breath and getting all the hugs from the guys and just all the welcome backs. It was really special.
What'd you feel about
There
yourself?
you go. That's Tyler Wells after the game last night. And look at that. While Tyler Wells was talking, Emmanuel Rivera himself hopped up on the board. He heard
Sometimes
the issue,
I
and
can't just snap my fingers.
that's the way it worked. It was interesting as I was watching the game last night because I thought Ben McDonald's comments were the most compelling. I've been confused, admittedly, about why the Orioles would bring back Tyler Wells as a starter. And what Ben said stuck with me, which is that most likely Tyler Wells is a reliever. That's the most likely scenario. But right now, given how little he has pitched, he just needs innings. And I couldn't tell if that was Ben getting that. This is the awkward part about, if Tony Mansolino talks about Tyler Wells, I don't know if Tony Mansolino has anything to do with what Tyler Wells' future role might be. I couldn't tell you. My guess is probably not. So is that coming from Tony Mansolino? Is that coming from Mike Elias? Where is it coming from? But it was a compelling argument that was made by Ben McDonald when you consider that Tyler Wells last year threw all of 15 innings. He just needs innings right now. He just needs to pitch. And then maybe you figure it out after that. Back in obviously 2023, Tyler Wells pitched 118 innings. But he just needs to pitch. And considering that the Orioles aren't going anywhere and aren't doing anything, it doesn't really matter what his role is. Is there an argument that maybe Tyler Wells could be your closer? And if he could be, should you be trying him out in that role now? There's probably an argument to be made for that. But I think most of us believe the Orioles need to prioritize closer and not experiment at closer if they're serious about trying to compete to get back into a World Series conversation in 2026. So I don't know that 1 month of Tyler Wells closing would do anything to make us feel like that wasn't still an experiment if you put him in that role next season. I think Tyler Wells is a leverage arm that could be a backup closer option if something goes wrong. But again, you're hoping that the Orioles prioritize closer in the offseason and aren't just copping out or putting someone in the role or signing someone else without closer experience. So that from Ben McDonald did compel me. I do think it's relevant that right now you just give him innings. And the best way to get bulk innings is for him to start. Just get him pitching. Makes sense to me. All that checks out. So I'll withdraw my complaints about the idea of Tyler Wells being back in the rotation. If the thought is just get him innings, then I'm good with it. And he got 5 last night, and he looked pretty good. Orioles do win the series, so they got that going for him, which is something. I guess it means it's not going to be an utterly rudderless ship after the events of last week, and there's something to be said for that. The two conflicting emotions that you always have, one, and it's sort of comparable to the Tyler Wells conversation. Part of the problem I have with Tyler Wells and why I have been so obsessed with it is that you worry that the Orioles are making decisions fiscally and that in their mind they wanted Tyler Wells back in the rotation because it's cheaper to sign a reliever than it is to sign a starting pitcher. And so if they could convince themselves that Tyler Wells could still be a starter, then they could say to themselves, well, look, we got Bradish, we've got Rogers, we've got Wells, maybe, some combination of Grayson Rodriguez and Dean Kramer's another starter. Like, we've got 4 out of the 5 rotation spots filled. We don't need to be spending lots of money on starting pitching this offseason. You always worry about that when it comes to the Orioles, and they've earned that. They probably wouldn't like that, but they've earned that. That's the reality. That's their reputation. And then that's the other side of the winning and losing thing that has been brought up to me recently. I think because of what Bob Nightingale said when he was on the show last week, and I wish I could remember who it was that brought it up first, but I was like, oh, no. God, maybe it wasn't Chris Arich. It might have been Dave. Messaged me and said, when I hear that from Bob Nightingale, I actually prefer that the Orioles lose because I don't want them winning to be justification for them to not hire a real manager. I'm like, jeez, that is bleak. Like, that's a bleak way of thinking. But I get it. When you hear Bob Nightingale say, well, they had one of the better records in baseball since, June.
And then the problem is if they do lose, then does that start to scare away some other,
Yeah, I don't buy into that at all. I don't buy that. Like, you hire a manager because the job's available. Somebody needs a job.
We're talking about Skip Schumacher and how it's up to him. The Orioles could really want him.
But that's going to be about circumstances. That's going to be about if Skip Schumacher's choices are continue to be a bench coach or take the Orioles job, and the Orioles present to him, we're not going to force you to just do whatever the general manager says. You will have control. You will have power. You'll have the ability to have a say in decisions that we make. We intend to spend money. We intend to compete, all of those things. And they present that to him, and he doesn't want that. That's a different conversation. If they're not willing to present those things, then that's a different conversation as well. But no, the idea that I don't think Skip Schumacher is going to make his decision based on did the Orioles win a couple more games than they lost in September when the season was over. That would be an insane way to make your decision if you were a prospective manager. That would be batshit, truthfully, for you to make a decision like that. You need to know about what the circumstances are. What is the organization going to do for you? What is their intent? And also, how do you feel? If Skip Schumacher has been watching a lot of Adley Rutschman and says, I can't get anything more out of this guy, then that might impact it. If he believes there's something more there, presuming the Orioles are keeping him around, remembering what it is that Bob Nightingale said, then we'll see. We'll see. All right, real quick, Ian Rappaport yesterday confirmed, I assume what we all knew. It was kind of odd, the idea that this was news. Ravens tight end Isaiah Likely, and I guess this wasn't last night, this is earlier this morning, who is recovering nicely from a broken bone in his foot, is not expected to play in the team's opener against the Bills, sources say. Likely underwent surgery in late July and is healing as expected. He should be ready early in the season. So nothing then. With respect to Ian Rappaport, I guess, legally speaking, that is news in that there was maybe somebody who, until Isaiah Likely was ruled out, continued to believe that maybe there would be a surprise of surprises. But given the way the last couple of weeks have gone, none of us thought that Isaiah Likely would be playing on Sunday night against the Bills. And again, you're assuming that it will be in the couple of weeks after that, and that's the reason why the Ravens didn't put him on IR. So whatever you make of that reporting, there it is from Ian Rappaport of the NFL Network this morning related to Isaiah Likely. I think the more interesting part today when the Ravens hit the practice field will be, is Jair Alexander on the practice field? Because as John Harbaugh said yesterday, he was doing something on Monday. What that wasn't practice. It was something physical, as described by John Harbaugh. So does he practice? If he does, that gives you much more confidence that he could play in the opener. All right. Speaking of the opener, by the way, today's show is brought to you by the Maryland 5-Star. Tickets available right now, maryland5star.us for the 5th edition of the Maryland 5-Star coming this October to Fair Hill in Cecil County. Ravens-Bills on Sunday night. Joining us now, part of the Bills radio broadcast crew. He is a longtime sports media personality, Sal Capaccio, and he's back with us now on GCR. Sal, it's Glenn back in Baltimore. It's great to chat with you, man. Thank you for taking the time for us this morning.
Yeah, you got it, man. Feel like it's almost like a division game. How many times we talk about these two teams playing each other
has been
over
a lot.
The last few years, right? It's been a good rivalry, and it gets kicked off against Sunday.
Sal, I had a really interesting angle that I'm sure you haven't thought about at all, and I think that's that we should rehash who should have won MVP last year. Nobody's really talked about that. I think that's a really fun. It'd be really different if that's how you and I spent our time this morning chatting.
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, that was pretty tough last year, dealing with all that back and forth, and it got pretty toxic, I think, between the two fan bases.
No.
And Baltimore, Baltimore for their guy, Buffalo for their guy. And, I've taken the approach of, and I have done this, personally, I don't know if you guys do, that we are just really fortunate to have these two guys along with, Mahomes and Burrow and where we are right now with watching them play football. It's incredible. I'm the sideline reporter for the Buffalo Bills. I get to be on a field with Lamar Jackson. It's incredible watching him play.
Yeah.
I get to be on a field with Josh Allen every Sunday or whatever, Monday night or whatever. And it's incredible watching him play. And I know from my standpoint, and I know a lot of Bills fans feel this way, believe it or not, you might not hear it this way, but I've talked with a lot of Bills fans who say, look, if Josh isn't going to win one of the Bills, they root for Lamar because it's kind of almost anybody but the Chiefs at this point, right? And Lamar is a guy that's right there with Josh's draft class, and I root for both of their success, just not on Sunday night, obviously.
Of course, understandable. I wonder if it's similar, the conversations in Buffalo now at this point, Sal, where as much as this is an exciting game and should be must-watch TV on Sunday night and all of those things, there's this thing that we deal with in Baltimore, and I wonder if it's very similar in Buffalo, where it's yeah, but the regular season is almost kind of boring, and in a way, it doesn't matter at all what happens on Sunday night because wake me up when we get to the postseason. Are you dealing with any of that in Buffalo at this point?
No, I don't think so for this particular game. I think there's been some of that last year. The Bills opened with the Cardinals, and but there might have been something along those lines where people would feel that way. This is a different type of animal, though. This is a team that I think people know the Bills are battling with in the AFC, and it could come down to who gets home field in the playoffs, depending on who wins. Now, we know that wasn't the case last year. The Ravens took care of the Bills there, and the Bills still hosted. The Bills beat the Chiefs, but the Chiefs still hosted, right? So it doesn't have to be. But I think at this point, Bills fans know this game is a lot different. However, that being said, I think after Sunday, no matter what happens, whether the Bills win or the Bills lose, then I think fans will get back to that spot where, hey, it's a long season. They've won 5 straight division titles, and along the way, they've lost 2 openers, one at home in 21 to the Steelers, one a couple of years ago on Monday night at the Jets, so anything can happen. Also, though, what throws a wrench in this is the final season in this stadium, guys. This is the last home opener ever at this stadium, which has been standing for over 50 years. So, what you're saying in the big picture is right, but there's a lot of focus on each and every regular season home game for the Bills this year.
He is Sal Capaccio, Bill's sideline reporter. He's with us here on GCR. Sal, talking about what's different for these two teams, I wonder if we can start actually with kind of what's the same. And I know they did bring back Gabe Davis this week, but a lot of the argument for Josh Allen as being MVP a year ago was about what the Bills didn't have around him. And I guess maybe I would have expected there to have been some investment in that this offseason. Is this just the case now of we believe that Josh Allen can bring the best out of this group, so we didn't have to do it? Is it we believe that maybe there's a big Keon Coleman jump to happen this year? What was the thought process in the Bills maybe not upping the ante at the skill position?
Well, they did a little bit. I'll get into that, but you're right. I think mostly that is the case, right? Which is, hey, you're paying $50 million to your quarterback. There's only certain spots around the roster where you can afford to pay premium money. They've invested in their left tackle, their right tackle. I would say the Bills have one of the best offensive lines in football, which really helps Josh Allen stay upright and do what he needs to do with that group of wide receivers and pass catchers that, no, they're not making all of this money because they don't have the elite type of talent like they did with Stephon Diggs for several years, because the Bills feel that Josh Allen rises all of them up to a different level. So, yes, that's part of it. Number two, though, is, yes, they need and they expect a jump from Keon Coleman and Dalton Kincaid. Dalton Kincaid was pretty much dealing with some injuries last year, had a really fantastic rookie season, and then last year just wasn't the same, and Josh missed him a lot. There was a lot of talk about that. And if Dalton Kincaid and or Keon Coleman can take the step the Bills expect them to take, that would really improve the skill position. But they did make a couple of changes. The only real, I've never seen a team bring back as much on offense as the Bills do this year. They had a really good offensive line last year, and they didn't just bring back their starting five. They brought back all 10. All 10 offensive linemen are back on this team.
That's significant.
Every running back is back on this team. Every tight end, and including the best blocking tight end in the draft, they added Jackson Hawes. But at wide receiver, there were two changes. Out are Mac Hollins and Amari Cooper, and then they brought in Josh Palmer and Elijah Moore. And you could definitely make an argument that they really didn't upgrade, or you could say, no, they brought in guys that had specific skill sets that they need. So I think from that standpoint, it's going to be very interesting on what they did at the skill position.
Another one of the changes they made this offseason, they bring in Joey Bosa, who is obviously a very well-known name. But what is Joey Bosa at this point in his football career, Sal?
Joey Bosa had a fantastic preseason and camp, I thought. I thought he was very noticeable, and more than anything, he was healthy. And the Bills have done a really good job of keeping him healthy. Now, what's funny about that is as soon as he signed, we come out here to, mandatory minicamp or minicamp, whatever it was, OTAs. I think it was OTAs originally. And the first thing out of Sean McDermott's mouth is Joey Bosa's going to miss the entire spring because he had a calf injury. We're like, well, here we go. I mean, wasted signing. But, guys, he was ready for camp. Day one, showed up, and he was good. And he showed. And, look, this is not a Von Miller signing where he was, I think, 32. I think Joey's still not even 30 years old yet. I got to look at that. But he's still a pretty young man as far as football and pass rusher is concerned. This is not a guy that's been, in this league and gone through, multiple teams and situations and just kind of hanging on at the end. This is a guy that he can stay healthy. He can be a major impact still for the Buffalo Bills. But that is the one question. Can he stay healthy? So far, the Bills have done a really good job. They have a plan for him. He's got a plan. He's talked about it. He knows there's been some injury concerns over the last few years where he's missed some time that's hurt him. But he has had a really good spring and I should say preseason and camp, and he's been healthy.
Sal, in what other ways might the Bills be different than the team that the Ravens saw twice last year?
The biggest reason, the biggest way, and I think this comes into play in this game particularly more than a lot of other games, is the Bills got bigger up front on defense. I think the Ravens kind of pushed the Bills around in that game in Baltimore. We saw that, especially early on. And then the Bills kind of made a really, really conscious effort to stop the run against the Ravens in the playoff game. And then the Ravens started getting it going in the second half. They were able to kind of, be physical with the Bills. The Bills went out and they really addressed their size up front. They drafted Deion Walker from Kentucky, who is a massive, massive human being. And he has had a very, very good rookie preseason and camp. Different ballgame Sunday, right? You're going against the Ravens, smart coaching staff, Derrick Henry. This is for keeps. They drafted T.J. Sanders as well, a really nice three technique that's going to fit in there. They drafted Landon Jackson on the outside at edge. I mean, the Bills spent pretty much all their resources on the defensive side during the draft. But that included Max Harrison, by the way, their first-round pick, a cornerback you will not see because he has a sprained LCL. So that was the guy, and he's not bigger. He just was the fastest guy at the combine, but he won't be playing. But the biggest way the Bills got different and better was up front on defense. But also, guys, Matt Milano's back. Now, he did play in that game, and he was a big factor. He knocked down that two-point conversion, obviously, early in the game. But that was only, I think, his fourth or fifth game back after he had missed the whole year. he's healthy. He's playing, and I think that's a big boost to the Bills' defense, obviously.
No, there's no doubt about that. It's certainly very helpful. Yeah, Sal, every time we talk, we try to talk about some of the local folks that you guys have up there. And I know Ty Johnson signed a new deal, the former Terp, and like a guy that I know a lot through special teams has really carved out a nice role for himself in the NFL.
Oh, no doubt. And, Josh Allen calls him the best third down back in the league, and I think he's up there. I think he just does a really good job. That's his main role. He can handle the ball a little bit. If you want him to on first and second down, they'll put him in those situations. But this is a third down back. He is a good pass blocker, and he's an excellent pass catcher. He had over 100 yards in a game against the Detroit Lions last year. Did you guys watch Hard Knocks last night? He's also a line dancer, by the way. He showed off his moves
we love
on Hard
that.
Knocks last
love
night.
it.
No doubt. And, Ty Johnson's a really, really nice addition for this team. It allows James Cook, who's not the best third down pass protector, to come off the field on that down and replace him with somebody who can not only pass protect but catch the ball to the backfield.
And speaking of guys that got new deals, the story of Christian Benford, Randallstown alum and a sixth-round pick, to being a guy that's now making a whole boatload of money, getting a 4-year, $69 million deal. How did this happen for Christian Benford that he became such an integral part of what the Bills do?
It happened because Christian Benford is a tireless, hard worker who scraps for everything in his life. And since you just referenced it, his upbringing and knowing where he came from and his background, that should be a surprise to no one that Christian Benford has been able to do that. The other part is he is an extremely intelligent football player. Hey, look, I'm a Syracuse guy. I don't like Villanova for basketball, but I'll admit, you don't go to Villanova if you aren't smart, right? Christian Benford went to Villanova. We know that. As a sixth-round pick out of Villanova, it's pretty crazy. But people remember, he was a sixth-round pick. That same year, the Bills took Kyrie Elam in the first round. He beat Kyrie Elam out for the starting job, and now Kyrie Elam's off the roster. And Kyrie Elam's with the Dallas Cowboys right now, and Christian Benford, got paid. But what's funny about getting paid, guys, that's a really nice contract. Of course it is. It doesn't even kick in until next year because he's got 1 year left in his rookie deal and then the extension for 4 years. He's under contract for 5 more. And honestly, as of right now, he's the 19th highest paid corner in the league. By the time that contract kicks in, that's going to be one of the best bargains in the league. He'll be probably 25th to 30th ranked.
Wow. I mean, that's incredible, and it's a great story, and you're really happy for him. Selfishly, we wish it was in Baltimore, but, we'll always root for those guys no matter what. Sal, for this one on Sunday, you mentioned, obviously, the games go two different ways last year. We saw the rally the Ravens made in the playoffs, comes up a little bit short. What do you think is the biggest storyline in your mind for how this one goes on Sunday?
Well, I went back and rewatched the game last year in the playoffs, and I think the thing that really stood out to me was, boy, if the Ravens had not made mistakes, they'd probably win the game, right? It really comes down. You guys know that. I mean, I'll tell you guys, I was literally the closest person on the planet to Mark Andrews when he dropped the ball. I picked up the ball and handed it to the official. I mean, that mistake right there could have eventually vaulted them into the AFC Championship game. But before that, there's the fumble by Mark Andrews. There's the drop by Derrick Henry. There's the fumble by Lamar Jackson. The Bills didn't make mistakes. The Ravens outgained them by 130 yards. I think that's the key. Like, it doesn't matter. You could throw yard stats like that out the window. This game's going to come down to which team makes an extra mistake or two. And last year in that game, it was the Ravens who made the mistakes, and the Bills took advantage because they didn't really make mistakes. They just played a really straight football game and did everything they could to keep it close to the vest and make sure they didn't give the Ravens those opportunities. I think that's the big key. I also think, guys, special teams is going to be a really big key because let's think about it. New kicker in Baltimore, no more Justin Tucker. New special teams coordinator in Buffalo, Chris Tabor, has been around a while. New kickoff rules. The Bills have given up a special teams touchdown in 3 of the last 4 openers of the season. They can't do that and give the Ravens an extra boost.
Ooh, that is juicy. And the Ravens have a new returner in LeJonte Wester. Ooh, that's might be time for me to start looking at some numbers and see if I can't play that. That is good stuff. At Sal Sports is how you follow him as always. Sal Capaccio, always appreciate you, man. Thank you for taking the time for us, and enjoy Sunday night, all right?
Yeah, you too. Have a great season, guys.
Thanks, Sal. Sal Capaccio is a regular with us over the years. Appreciate him taking the time for us. And can you look up what kind of juice we can get on a return touchdown for Sunday night? See if maybe that's perhaps an option for us. I'm all of a sudden very interested in what the payoff would be for a return touchdown of some sort in the Ravens-Bills game on Sunday night. Not ready to throw everything at it, but just.
Might as well.
I love John from Little Rock calling you out. That's great. just says, it sounds like your dad. He just says, do better. And you know what? He's right. Do better.
I'm mad at you too.
What are you mad at me about?
Because you screwed me last night.
How did I screw you?
You took my guy.
Who was your guy?
My guy.
Who's your guy?
Bowers.
Oh, you wanted him?
Yeah, I wanted him.
Oh, I couldn't believe that nobody. We did this
I couldn't believe
cockamamie.
it.
I did 3 fantasy drafts.
If you
last
hadn't
night.
taken him, I would have got him in all 4 of my leagues. I would have had Bowers
Oh,
in
yeah?
every single one of my leagues.
Well, I definitely
love
wasn't going to take him
Bowers.
for any reason other than this cockamamie 2 tight end nonsense. And then I tried to hold out to get my second tight end, and I really screwed up there.
Yeah, I don't think I did good either.
I really screwed
Who was
up.
your second tight end?
I don't even. It was. I ended up taking 2 because I was so unhappy
yeah, well,
with the first
I
one.
ended up taking a bunch. I took.
Yeah, I might have taken
Pitts
4
was,
as well.
Kyle Pitts was my second tight end.
Well, yeah, but like at least Kyle Pitts, there's a
yeah,
chance.
Yeah, there's a ceiling. But there's also a low floor.
Dallas Goedert was my second tight end. Yeah, I mean, you can do worse, but you're not inspired. I also got Jonnu Smith and Dalton Schultz, so I've got
I grabbed
strength in
Oh,
numbers.
I grabbed Darren Waller and Terrence Ferguson.
There you
as
go.
well.
Yeah,
So
I thought about Terrence Ferguson.
yeah.
There's a part of me that's like, he's gonna be the guy, isn't he?
And then I didn't. And since you only have to start one running back, I didn't draft any running backs. I drafted Genty in the first round, and then I just didn't take another running back.
Now that I think is questionable because you
Maybe,
still have to
but-
play a bunch of flexes, and
Yeah, but so I just took receivers.
I
that
get
are
it.
After that.
I get it. I
took
just
McBride and Genty, and then I
Right.
just went receiver. Like
Right.
the next 5 rounds.
I get it. I understand where you're coming from, but I still feel like I'd rather have like I took Isaiah Pacheco a little bit later on, but I like
You
4.
drafted my team that I had in my
Oh, yeah?
third league.
3 of
I
my
got
4
Jay-
flexes are.
I literally got H.N. Daniels, Rick Bowers, and who?
Well, I
who
had-
just the receiver you just named,
Uh,
or Pacheco.
Pacheco.
Like, yeah, like literally all 4 of them.
I had Ryan Ripken's draft last night, his league, and I got this one was really weird because I got in the first round Jahmyr Gibbs. I had the 4th pick, and I took Jahmyr Gibbs there, and then it came back around to me, and Devon Achane was sitting there, and I'm just like, oh, I don't like doing 2 running backs, but Devon Achane is sitting there at whatever pick that would be. If you're the 4th to last pick in the second round, so you're the 20th pick, I guess, 21st maybe.
Yeah.
21st pick. I'm like, you got to take Achane here, right? Like he's kind of a borderline first rounder. So I grabbed him, and then it came back around to me, and Chase Brown was still on the board,
Jeez.
right?
What?
And I'm like, what the hell is going
And you're
on?
playing with sports people?
The 28th pick. Yeah, who's in the Rita's in that league? Cordell's in that league.
It's just
Our
'cause
buddy
it's
Jake
Bengals?
Luke
like, I know
is in
everyone's
that
Every
league.
single person's a Ravens fan, but like,
I
they're
mean,
still football.
It was very weird. Adrian, the Orioles PA announcer, is in that league. Our friend Adam Pohl, who is now is Mount St. Mary's play-by-play voice. Like it's Steve Johnson's in that league. Steve Johnson, by the way, is my first round matchup, and Steve Johnson was talking S. I got a text from Steve last night that said, "Greatest team I've ever drafted. Might be the best team I've ever assembled." Let's take a look at his team, right? He's got Joe Burrow. Then his running backs he's going bold with rookies. Omarion Hampton and Travion Henderson are his
He's going
starting running
rookie
backs.
running backs. He says this is the greatest team I've ever had.
Uh,
Neither of those 2 rookies are Ashton Genty.
Receivers are CeeDee Lamb and Nico Collins. Did not take a tight end until the last round. Took
he got CeeDee and Nico, that's
Chigakonkwo
pretty good.
as his tight end. And then his flex would be DeAndre Swift this week. He does also have Emeka Ibuka on the bench, and I do like that a good bit. He's loaded on his argument would be that his bench is he's got J.K. Dobbins, Emeka Ibuka, Stephon Diggs, Michael Pittman all on his bench. And so it's not bad, but greatest team I've ever assembled. Starting Chigakonkwo, baby. Better be bullish about Cam Ward. Yeah, that cockamamie KZ league. F that nonsense.
Yeah. It looks like you might have to bet just a return, like a kick return touchdown to happen.
Yeah, for either team?
Yeah. I
What's
think
the
so.
juice there?
Plus 1,300.
Oh, man. And we're
But
getting.
it's possible I haven't found it yet either. So, but that's the one.
I mean, I don't know. It's probably worth $10, right? Like he said, they've given up return or special. Did he say return touchdowns or special teams touchdowns?
I thought he said return.
In 2 of the last 3
like
home
kick
openers.
Or punt. That's the way I interpreted it as, and that sounded like the way he was trying to pitch it because he was talking about special teams.
I think I might.
Can I call him back and be like,
Yeah, right.
let me make sure I got.
Well, I
the
mean, we
stat
can also
right.
look it up. I mean, we do have the ability to go look at their last couple of home openers and see what the story is there. All right, today's show is brought to you by, that Stan the Fan Variety Hour. If you missed Stan, Ross, and Luke talking baseball yesterday, you can find it. Facebook.com/PressBoxSports. Click on the videos tab. What is going on? YouTube.com/PressBoxOnline or PressBoxOnline.com/video. As always, Stan shows are brought to you by the Costas Inn and the all-new Costas Inn, now open in Timonium at the Grandstand. Still to come this morning, we're going to do this all year long. We're going to try to do one a week. We've done series like this, but this is the 30th year of Ravens football, so we're going to catch up with members of the inaugural Baltimore Ravens team in 1996. And the first one on the hot seat is going to be the great Jermaine Lewis. Of course, he a Terp and a Super Bowl champion. It's also the 25th anniversary of that team, so look at all that. But we're going to try to catch up with members of that inaugural Ravens team all throughout the season to reflect on where they were and where this franchise has gone over the course of 30 years. So Jermaine Lewis will be first up on that list. It is a Wednesday edition of Glenn Clark Radio.
For fans of the Costas Inn, and who isn't, I have some great news. Now there's a second location to go along with 4100 North Point Boulevard. This one is at the Timonium OTB. This is Stan the Fan, and I have been a fan of the Costas Inn and Triantafalo's family for going on 30 years. They're open for lunch and dinner, same great Costas feel, same great menu and quality food you've been enjoying for well over 50 years. The exact address on your GPS is 2200 York Road, and their phone number at the new location is 667-406-1970. If you're new to the Costas experience, get ready for a real treat. All wrapped up in a new spacious dining room in Timonium at the OTB. If you want steamed crabs, you have them, and the full menu at 4100 North Point Boulevard. The number for reservations there at Costas, 410-477-1975.
Game day gets even better at Live Casino. Score a live jersey on September 6th and bucket hat on September 27th. Plus, catch our big plays, big pays hot seats on select game days. When the home team scores, the prize pool doubles. And we'll give away a $50 sports and social gift card with every touchdown. Take it to the end zone at Live Casino. At Arundel Mills, must be 21. Please play responsibly. For help, visit mdgamblinghelp.org or call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Looking for Baltimore's premier waterfront dining experience? Head to Nick's Fish House, located in the Baltimore Peninsula. Enjoy crabs all year long, plus happy hour Monday through Thursday from 3 to 6. Planning a celebration? From rehearsal dinners to corporate crab feasts, Nick's is the spot to make it unforgettable. And the fun doesn't stop there. Live music fills the air every Thursday through Sunday. Check out the full lineup at nicksfishhouse.com. Nick's, it's where Baltimore comes to eat, drink, and play by the water.
Gambling can be a fun and entertaining experience, but there are risks involved. If you're planning on betting on the game at the casino or on your phone or computer, know your limit, stay within it. Set a budget and a time to stop. Remember, gambling isn't a financial solution, and it doesn't mix well with alcohol or drugs. Know the risks and have a plan before you begin gambling. For free and confidential services, call 1-800-GAMBLER 24/7 or go to helpmygamblingproblem.org.
The latest edition of Press Box is available now. On the cover, Bo Smolko profiles Ravens running back Derrick Henry and how the football legend has proven to be a unicorn at the position with the success that he's found after the age of 30. Also inside, Brandon Schwartzberg looks at Kobe Mayo's push to find rhythm at the big league level. And we mark the start of the college football season by meeting players from all 4 FBS and FCS programs throughout the state. Press Box is available for free at over 500 locations throughout the region, including 60 Royal Farm stores. Or you can read the entire issue online at PressBoxOnline.com, where you can also find great betting advice and the best daily coverage of the Orioles, Ravens, and Terps.
Feeling sluggish, unfocused, or not like yourself? It could be low testosterone. At Game Day Men's Health, we specialize in testosterone replacement therapy to help men boost energy, improve mood, and regain confidence. Our treatments, including testosterone cypionate, are safe, natural, and tailored to fit your lifestyle with weekly injections or pellet therapy. Get started today with a free testosterone test and feel the difference. GameDayMen'sHealth.com. Game Day Men's Health, where men reclaim their game.
Contrary to what some people believe, I actually like this guy. when he sleeps. Glenn Clark, Talking Sports.
All right, back in here on GCR as we continue along on a Wednesday edition. And normally I'd say it's a Would You Rather Wednesday edition, but, and this is look at me. Hi, Glenn Clark here. Straight shoot time. It's just you and I talking. Today is not a Would You Rather Wednesday edition of the program. And the reason why, I wish I could be, I want to lie to you. I want to make up a story. The reason why is because I forgot today was Wednesday until about 10:45 a.m. Now, that sounds crazy, but of course this is a holiday week, right? So I think for a lot of us today feels like a Tuesday. And normally on Wednesdays, what the hell did Drew die? Is he no longer with us?
I said he has some golf thing this week.
It's no different than any other week. I mean, like, what else?
He said he was at something Dunes, Brandon.
Whatever.
Not Brandon,
No one cares. No one cares. So Drew's not here. Like, none of the Wednesday stuff clicked for me. And then we had some other stuff going on the hour leading up to the show where I had to record a spot, and then I had to re-record it, and then I had to re-record it again after it. There's just a lot happening. And suddenly at 10:45, it hit me. I'm like, today is Wednesday. It's not Tuesday. It's Wednesday. So I thought I could do a cheap, bastardized version of Would You Rather Wednesday, or we could just for this week only do something to reward you that isn't Would You Rather Wednesday. So it'll be back next week. I promise it's not going away. But you see this very cool Pressbox Flock Yeah t-shirt? You see this? Long sleeve Flock Yeah Pressbox shirt. This would look good on a Purple Friday, wouldn't it? Well, it can be yours. All you got to do is do one of these two things. Well, you could do it. I'm going to post something on both Facebook and Twitter. Also on Blue Sky. You could reply to any of those posts. Or you can email producer@PressBoxOnline.com. But we want it to go to someone who's actually a listener, viewer, whatever you do. So you have to answer one question. Who was Orioles man of the match last night? That's all you got to do. Reply to the tweet, the Blue Sky, the Facebook post, or email producer@PressBoxOnline.com. And just answer the question, who was Orioles man of the match last night?
Don't say it right now? Or
Don't.
Okay. Can I win the shirt if I...
You know people who could win the shirt.
Okay.
You want to try to... Anybody's eligible, except you.
Oh,
you are not.
Geez, not fair.
And someone who answers that question will be chosen at random to win this Flock Yeah t-shirt.
Try it. There you go.
Courtesy of your friends at Pressbox.
Flock
so
yeah.
make sure you go register to win right now. Right now, we're going to begin our celebration, our season-long celebration of 30 years of Baltimore Ravens football by catching up with members of the inaugural Baltimore Ravens team. And, of course, first up on the hot seat is someone who's very much one of us. He's a Maryland native. He's a Maryland alum. And he was the fifth-round pick of the Baltimore Ravens in their first-ever NFL draft when they literally did not have a logo. Joining us now here on GCR, the great Jermaine Lewis is back with us. Jermaine, it's Glenn. It's great to catch up with you, man. Thank you for taking a couple of minutes for us.
Oh, yeah, well, thank you for having me on the show, for one.
Yep.
I appreciate it.
And do you, remember the feel? Did you realize that the Ravens, when you got drafted, did it hit you I just got drafted by a team that legitimately has no colors, that has no logo? Did you get any of, I remember Jonathan Ogden, a lot's been made of, the jacket that he got that was logoless.
Uh-huh.
Did you get any logoless gear when you were drafted by the Baltimore Ravens?
I think we kind of we had a logo, I think, by the time I got here.
All right.
Me and J.O. came at the same time, but he went on the first day, so
right.
They had him ready.
They handed it.
But I do remember. Yeah.
They handed him a jacket. It's a famous story. He was at the draft in New York. They handed him a jacket that just said the words. There was nothing on it other than the words Baltimore Ravens.
Wow. Yeah, it's been a long time, and the organization has come so far. Of course, we have a different logo.
Yeah,
But
right.
I think one of the reasons the Ravens, are so far on top, each and every year is because of, how they run the organization. They treat the players good. And even they treat old players like myself. They treat us good.
Yeah.
Send us gifts and send us, opportunities to go out in the community. So they run well and they play well. It shows on the field.
Jermaine, I wonder if we can go back, like when you the early days practicing out at McDaniel, now not McDaniel, sorry, I Villa Julie, which is now known as Stevenson. Did you have any idea, like what when you got there? Did you see the foundation for what would ultimately become a Super Bowl championship team, and to your point, one of the most respected organizations in all of professional sports? Or did you have any clue what you guys might be laying the foundation for in 1996?
Nah, really, I didn't. Honestly, not. I'm still surprised, just now. Even, like you said, it's been 30 years, but we're still talking about it, talking about that team or talking about the beginning of the Ravens organization. So it feels good, especially like when you see the younger players, it's like we help build the road
right.
for, all the exposure and everything that they got now. But they so we have Ray Lewis and, now they have Lamar Jackson. So it's like those are crowd pleasers. And so I travel a lot and do a lot of Under Armour, like high school football stuff around the country. And a lot of the kids, that everybody loves Lamar Jackson.
Of course.
So that just brings a lot of fans across the country, not just, in Maryland.
What do you think? What was it about that group or, maybe the leadership? How did that thing that, showing up, tapes lying around the building, how did that become the Baltimore Ravens that we now know and have been such a ubiquitous part of our lives here in this city?
I mean, I think, with the team that we had the year we won it, we were such a family unit. So we were tight across the board, so we can go handle situations like going on the road, being down, not scoring touchdowns. Something like that will split a locker room, the ups and downs we had that year. And we were just able to fight through a lot of things just because we're a tight unit and we stuck together. So I think when you get a team that sticks together and fights all the way through, that's when you get a Super Bowl brand.
He is Jermaine Lewis. We are celebrating 30 years of Ravens football, as all season long we're going to be catching up with members of the inaugural Baltimore Ravens team. Jermaine, take me back, right? Because I think you became such a star in this community, but at the beginning, did you know that your role was even guaranteed? Like, how much did you feel like you were fighting for your life in those inaugural days of the Baltimore Ravens?
Well, I was on special teams, man, so I had to come up the hard way, like kick return, punt return.
Yep.
It really don't get harder than that. And then in the slot, getting smacked over the middle, it wasn't really any rules back then. If you had a concussion, you got back in the game. That's how it just was. Back in 96. I used to say, I'm seeing stars, and then just sit out like a quarter and then go back in the game.
I know. We shouldn't laugh about that. We really shouldn't laugh about it, but you're right.
I guess I'm laughing to cry.
Yeah.
I was part of all those things, and I'm glad, that kickoff return, I'm glad they changed the rule. It's dangerous. I mean, it changes the game a little bit, but that's a violent play. Everybody had their juices up. The first play of the game, you get a 40-yard sprint. I mean, it's a collision. So, on another note, but yeah, I didn't know that we were going to be where we're going to be now. I don't think anybody could have predicted that one.
What was it like that first game? The anniversary just passed this past weekend of that first game, because remember, you guys used to play on Labor Day weekend. What was it like? You were the first Raven to ever touch a football. You were the guy.
Right.
What
yeah, that's pretty cool.
Right? Like, what was that moment like to look around, there was so much unknown about the franchise, but to see that scene at Memorial Stadium in 1996 and your first touch in the NFL, the first ever touch for a Baltimore Ravens, can you describe what that moment was like?
Well, it's like the first game, so it was a lot going on for me. It was also my first game.
Yep.
So I really didn't want to fumble. I think in the beginning you just don't want to make any mistakes, make the news in the wrong way. But I was just nervous, and I don't know. It was just a lot of emotions. I just remember driving up 95, coming to, I think it was a mini camp, and I just couldn't believe that I was playing actually down the street.
Yeah.
You know, I played at Maryland.
Yep.
I played for Eleanor Roosevelt, and then I had like a 5 to 10 minute drive to College Park. Then from College Park to the Ravens, it was like a 35-minute drive. So I just remember being all about being able to play in the state of Maryland, you know, most of my career. You know, God blessed me with that. It's, you know, it's up and down to that situation, but, you know, I would just love being a Raven. You know, I love the organization. You know, I love the team. I just want to keep having success, really. I want them to win the big one.
Yeah, it's time.
Seems like we're getting close
right?
every year. I know it is time. And like I said, the organization this year, they didn't leave any holes in the roster. So on paper, we looking super great.
I want to talk about that.
See.
I want to talk about that more in 1 second. You, what you referenced earlier in laying the foundation, like how much pride do you have in that, Jermaine? Like that feeling of, you know, everything to take nothing away from what all these guys are doing, because you're right.
Yeah,
Lamar's
right.
amazing.
You know,
Derrick Henry's
right.
amazing. To take nothing away from any of those guys. But like that this wouldn't be this without what you guys did.
It's
like,
kind of like you don't want to be selfish. You don't want to be some old head talking like,
you wouldn't have
did that.
right.
But at the same time, wouldn't, you know, without all that other stuff, it wouldn't have the exposure that it does now. Like the first game of the year, you know, Buffalo Ravens prime time. You know, all that stuff. Yeah, all that foundation had to be laid for them, you know, just the process. And I'm not taking anything. They're all good and all that, but it's just when you get older, that's just stuff you know. It happens like that, and that's just it is what it is.
I appreciate that, man. All right, so how confident are you feeling that you're gonna get? That we're finally, you know, I know how cool it was for you guys. I love the connectivity that you guys shared with the Super Bowl 47 champions, right? Like, and I know that you and Jacoby did some events together before he passed, and that was so special.
Right.
How confident are you that like you just can't be this good the way that this franchise is and not have it work out, right? Like it's got to work out, right? They got to win a Super Bowl.
It seems that way. It's like if this was a math equation, we have all the pluses, you know, in each category. And I've never really. It's hard to say this, but it's one of the most stacked teams I say. It's like I said, Maryland, when we playing against Florida State, like. Florida State has all the pressure. Like, you have the pressure, but you have all the talent. You see what I mean? So it's like you don't want to play – you don't want to have that much pressure, but you don't want to play against the Ravens because they're loaded. You understand what I mean? So when you come in here, you know you're going to get a game.
Man.
And we know that we should, and if we handle things correctly, we should just go out each week, 1 week at a time, and handle our business.
I'm thinking about those Florida State teams with like Peter Warwick, and man, they were
everybody. Charlie Ward,
right? They were loaded.
They had everybody. I remember we lost 70-7. Man, I'll never forget that because I had like 10 kickoff returns.
God, man,
I was like, oh my God, they keep scoring.
Man,
but
yeah, those were tough days. Those were tough days. You know, you mentioned the changes to the kickoff. I wonder, you know, it's not just they changed it for safety reasons, but they really do still want returns, right? Like, obviously, they changed the rule again this year, so it's 5 more yards, 35 for a kickoff or for a touchback. Do you feel like we're going to see a lot more returns because of that this year, that, like, teams don't want to sign up for the 35-yard line on a touchback, and that could lead to maybe some, like, the return of the electric returner in the NFL?
I think, man, if you have the ability, like, I probably would bring it out. I just need the ball, really. So
yeah,
I would bring it out a lot. Like I said, it is a physical play, and then you have to be a game manager. If you're losing, you need to bring it out every time. In my opinion, just to try to score, or even just because the kickoff return is a momentum setter. If you start off with a good return or a good punt return, you know you might have the ball at the 45, get a first down or two, and you can get a field goal. So, you know, I'm a fan of bringing it out, especially game situational.
Can I assume that, like, you probably weren't paying a whole lot of attention to the preseason because, my God, why does anybody pay attention to the preseason at this point, Jermaine? So I'm guessing you haven't had a chance to really see LeJontay Wester yet, right?
Not yet. Is that the returner?
Yeah, that's the new returner from Colorado. Correct.
Yeah, I heard about it. Right.
He had a punt return TD in the preseason, and like we're allowing ourselves because, as we know, the Ravens have not won a Super Bowl without an All-Pro caliber returner in their history.
Returner, you gotta have one.
Like we know that's the case, so we're letting ourselves hope that maybe they found another one.
It feels good to be a Baltimore fan. You gotta have a returner. That's one thing, just love that. And he'll get love. You just got hit it sometimes, and like I said, be situational. As a punt returner, the main thing, don't fumble, and kick return, don't fumble the ball and lose the game. But you can also provide that spark. Big play. Also, Mitchell can provide that spark.
Yep. No doubt, he's special. There's no question. There's no question about that.
Those change games around.
Did you know Keaton growing up at all because of his, like, I don't know what your relationship was like with Anthony over the years.
I didn't.
Okay, all right.
I didn't. No, we were cool, but I didn't know. I know he was training his son. Yeah. He had like 2 of them. He'd been training them since the beginning. So that should show out on the field, just having that early exposure. And it's one thing to make a good cut, but it's one thing to make precise cuts. And that's what he's out there doing. Once you learn how to split the defense and you have some speed with you, you could be unstoppable.
And he's got elite speed.
Have a big year.
Yeah, elite speed. There's no doubt about that.
Yeah.
Jermaine,
if he sees the hole, he can hit it.
I wonder, you just referenced something there. Can you explain what this has been like for you? Like, I know you're still doing, like, I know you were doing an event with Jimmy's recently, right? Like, you're still doing this stuff.
Right.
What it has meant to you to be such a beloved part of this community. And I know it's a little bit different because you are local and you did go to Maryland, but what that has meant to you in your life, that I have no doubt every day there are still people that are coming up to you like, yo, you're Jermaine Lewis. Like, what is that meant to you, man?
It is. It's I got to reference God again because, like I said, I mentioned the other day, I can't believe, I'm 30 years later, I get opportunities to go out there, call from Ravens. I have something at the stadium, I think, on Sunday, and then I have something at the Horseshoe tomorrow.
Wow.
Just little things around the community. And I don't mind doing that because I remember Dwayne Stark, I had a rough end of my career, that little 30s to 40s, that was a little wild. But I remember seeing him, and he was like, you just got to stay relevant. So I just started coaching. I was at St. Francis.
Yep.
Then we ended up getting the number 1 in the country. And I didn't really want all that attention. We had like a 30 for 30 on that. I was just trying to get back to the community and stuff like that. But you just stay relevant, do little things. I'll go to schools. I'll talk. I'll do paid gigs. I'll just try to go out. I don't go out my way, but if things come my way, I always take advantage of it because I wouldn't. God put me in this position, so I have to really take advantage of people who just want to thank me and see me, just say, I remember where I was at when he ran that Super Bowl.
100%, right?
I hear that so much. I hear that so. And I want to have those memories with my kids, with the Ravens and the Super Bowl. This is where we was at. This is what we were doing when Lamar Jackson did this and Zay Flowers did that. I want to have those memories.
No,
people talk about it.
You're gonna get me, Jermaine. You're gonna get me emotional because I watched the first Super Bowl. I was a senior in high school, so I was not doing this yet. I watched it with my dad, and you pointing to the sky and everything we knew about your son. Like, I get emotional thinking. Like my father and I shared that moment together. I get emotional.
I'm getting a little chill bumps right now. I know. It's crazy.
Jermaine, it means a lot, man.
I couldn't believe when I talk about that Super Bowl, too, I was so mad that Ron Dixon ran a kickoff before I did. I said, that's like Justin Tucker. Let him watching somebody kick a 70-yarder in the Super Bowl. He would be so pissed.
Like, bro, I'm the one. No offense to Ron Dixon. He was a nice player. He was a nice player.
I was so heated. I remember that watching him run out. I was so heated, man. I just couldn't believe it.
Well, he got to have that for all of one play. For one play, and then you took the thunder right back from him. One play later.
We got to shut that down now immediately.
Jermaine Lewis, man, it's so great to catch up with you. So what else are you up to these days?
I mean, I try to do a little bit of everything. Most recently, I was, like I said, I was doing camps with Under Armour. With it's like kids get a special invite, come out, and I also did something with Justin Jefferson. He had a flight school, so it was the top 18 high school guys in America, the top 5 stars, all those guys going on Ohio State. So we had a chance to work with them for 3 days.
That's awesome, man.
I had a chat. Yeah, I learned from him, what's up to date. Because you see a lot of stuff on the internet now, but I wanted to see, if what I was coaching is still valuable. And then, it was still good, but I just try to stay busy.
Man, that's awesome. That's a really cool thing. Jermaine, we're going to be looking forward to seeing all you guys out next week for the Ravens' 30th anniversary, and then we get the 25th anniversary of the Super Bowl later on this season. So it's gonna be a fun year, man. It's gonna be a fun year.
Yeah, it's gonna be. Yes, it should.
And then hopefully,
we'll end it right.
Exactly right. Exactly right.
Yeah,
Jermaine,
we ain't gonna talk about it, but we know the main goal.
Speak it into existence, brother. Always appreciate you taking the time for us, man. Thank you for joining us as we celebrate 30 years, and let's catch up again real soon. All right.
All right, right. Like I said, thanks for having me, man. Y'all have a blessed day.
That's the great Jermaine Lewis, Ravens Super Bowl 35 champion, former Terp, and yeah, just gonna reflect. I think it's I remember the year of the 25th. I don't know if it was the anniversary of the first game or the 25th season of Ravens football. I remembered somebody tweeted about it, and I saw people tweeting about the anniversary of the first game this weekend. And I responded to it, and I said, young people will never understand what a miracle this was, how impossible this was. And I had a young Ravens fan who was like trying to accuse me of gatekeeping. I'm like, it's not gatekeeping. I'm happy to have. I'm not trying to keep anybody from being a Ravens fan. It's storytelling in the same way that, like, I don't know all the Brooks Robinson stories because I didn't live them. I was born in 83. His career ended in 77. I understand a lot of them, and I got to know Brooks, but I never saw Brooks Robinson play baseball a day in his life. There's just certain things that we'll never fully be able to truly understand because we didn't live them, even if we know them. And that feeling of what that first game meant, and what proved to be a terrible Ravens team in 96, after the crap that this city had gone through in trying to get an expansion team. The expansion process sucked the life out of our city for years. And I was a young man. It's ironic that I'm now working at WBAL because, like, I was listening to WBAL every day, desperately looking for news about the expansion process. Was a number one news story in this city for the better part of 2 years. And my father, who would get together with his buddies at the barbershop every Saturday and literally I watched them act out John Unitas handing the ball off to Lenny Moore. Grown men. And I just wanted to know what that was like, what that feeling was like. And so I'd listen to the radio every day, nonstop coverage, only to find out that Charlotte was getting the team. But there's still going to be another one. The NFL's just not ready yet to say who it's going to be. All right, well, it's not going to be Memphis. It's not going to be Birmingham was a major player in the process. It sure as F isn't going to be podunk Jacksonville. Jacksonville's going to get no. St. Louis was the real threat, right? That's what everybody was worried about. Every day.
So how many was it? How many new teams came in 96?
Two. Well, not 96.
94.
And I believe it was 94, 95 was the first year for the two expansion teams.
Got it.
Charlotte or Carolina and Jacksonville were the two expansion teams that were chosen. I can't remember if it was 90.
Why did I think Carolina was 02? It was Houston.
Definitely not.
It was Houston and who?
Cleveland got back, and that was an 02 though. Houston made it 32. Houston was the 32nd team. The Houston exists because they gave the team back.
Number.
They were at 30, but in the agreement when the Browns moved to Baltimore, they had to give a team. Part of that agreement was that Cleveland would get a team, an expansion team. Okay. So that put them at 31, and they needed a 32nd team. That's why Houston exists, is because of the agreement they had in moving the Browns to Baltimore. But none of us knew about the sort of behind-the-scenes wheeling and dealing that was being done. Like, we didn't know anything about the fact that Art Modell saw this deal that was on the table for Baltimore to get an expansion team, and he said, Well, hell, I'd like that for me. None of us were aware of any of that. Like, there really was a lot of behind-the-scenes stuff that was happening, not the expansion vote. Like, my understanding, and we'll maybe bring some of those folks on too, is that as the vote was taking place, like, no one in the Baltimore delegation was aware of Art Modell's kind of back-channel plan to say, yeah, you got a sweetheart of a deal, and I want it because Cleveland's given me nothing. So when expansion didn't go our way, like, it felt like permanent death. All of the effort that had been put into getting Baltimore back in the NFL, the preseason game that was played here, it felt like this was permanent death. Paul Tagliabue, some cities are meant to have museums. That's why we still hate Paul Tagliabue, those of us that are a certain age.
When did he say that?
It right after they announced the expansion teams. And I don't remember, the years have gone by, I don't remember the exact quote, but he absolutely said, not all cities are meant to have, cities are meant for museums. All of that stuff. Like, there was the hope was gone. It was over. And so, I wish I could find the direct quote because now everybody's just paraphrasing it the same way that I am, and none of us remember exactly what the quote. Paul Tagliabue,
December '93.
Yeah, ungraciously suggested Baltimore build a museum. Do you have the exact quote?
I'm trying to find it.
God, I wish I could find that.
I'm looking at, I have the Sun article from '93.
Yeah, I just want the quote. Anyway, the moral of the story is, we had given up. It was hopeless to even have a team. And the stories that our fathers told us about the Colts, for those that were a little bit older, the memories they had of what the Colts did for this city were just going to be stories. And it was over, and it was dead, and it was done. The Ravens happening was a miracle. Winning the Super Bowl in 2000 was a miracle beyond any comprehension. To have gone from not just not having a team, but completely hopeless, dead in the water for having a team. It was never happening. There wasn't going to be more expansion. Remember, the next expansion only happened because the Browns moved. The NFL had no intention to further expand after 30 teams. The Baltimore was out and was never going to get back in. And to go from that feeling, that utterly hopeless feeling, to now there's an NFL team playing at Memorial Stadium in it was truly a miracle. And I don't know what it's like in other cities. I don't know what the feeling was like when the Thunder arrived in Oklahoma City. I don't know. I'm sure there are romantic feelings about a lot of these things. But I don't know that the despair can be comparable. Baltimore was one of the great cities in the NFL in professional football, and then was gone, and then not just gone, left for dead. I don't know that there's anything comparable in American sports. Someone would probably be able to present something to me. To go from that to this, and then for this to turn into
where we are
today.
Yeah.
Derrick Henry on the cover of this month's print issue of PressBox. Go pick it up for free wherever you get PressBox. Read it all, PressBoxOnline.com.
He said, "Go build a museum with the
fund.
Like
go build a museum.
They had set aside all the stadium funds.
Yeah, correct. Yeah, go build a museum.
So he said, use that. Go build a museum.
To go from that to go build a museum to this, to the place where the history of the Baltimore Ravens would be fitting for a museum, it's unfathomable. And so, yeah, I do want to hear stories. And Jermaine says, hey, by the time I got there, we had a logo. And I don't remember the dates because I was 13 years old at that point. So I don't remember. I wasn't covering the team. I don't remember, when the first rookie camp was and all of that. But straight shoot, Jonathan Ogden got drafted by a franchise that had no logo. None. It was a black, like when they put the, what am I trying to say? Go ahead, Colson. This is old guy stuff, by all means. By all means.
How old were you?
I was 13.
Okay.
I was 13.
Just one more little bit of historic perspective.
Yeah.
We couldn't, and you might have already said this, but there was no practice squad
Right.
because they couldn't afford them. None.
Right.
There were no players on the practice squad. It was the 53-man roster.
Yep. And that's what you got.
That's what you got.
That's what you got.
That's what you got.
That's it.
And Michael Jackson running in the end zone and catching like 40-yard touchdowns from Vinny Testaverde, and then no defense.
That first
Ray
season.
Lewis.
By the way, it also made the first season exciting to watch because of all the offense.
And they
right?
won their first game.
They won their first game, and then they beat the Steelers late in the season
Uh-huh.
on like the rainiest day of all time. That was the first game I ever went to. Was the I'm still drying out from that Steelers game later on that season, which they ultimately
And then in
won.
the next year, they got Siragusa in.
And then you started to see what was coming. We didn't. By the way, even going into 2000, nobody thought they were winning the Super Bowl.
Nobody. No, they just had a 500 season.
Correct.
They were thrilled.
Correct. And they had no quarterback, and nobody knew exactly what they were doing. They were trying. Tony Banks was going to get another
Shannon
shot.
Sharp would come in.
Right, but again, you started to see. We knew at that point Ray Lewis was a star. We didn't know how good Jamal was going to be in the first season.
There were some
there were some Sam Adams,
and Peter Boulware.
Yep, legitimate.
Legit, but it was crazy. So anyway, I just wanted
and that's why when I say this,
squad.
what I'm saying is I don't think people understand what a miracle. We're going to talk about it all year. We're going to bring every week. We're going to bring a different member of the inaugural Ravens team on this season to have conversations about what the Ravens were to what they are, and I do think it's a testament. Look, I have differences of opinion from time to time with the Baltimore Ravens about various things, but my God, they are one of the exemplary franchises in all of American pro sports.
We could be Arizona.
100, and as frustrated as we get that this group hasn't won a Super Bowl, and it's frustrating that they haven't won a Super Bowl yet. I constantly am. I can be the guy that says, "Remember how good we have it."
Yep.
Remember how good we have it. Remember how much we are excited about this, and there is life, and we know it's going. Even when they play the freaking Browns in week 2, it's gonna be mob scene, and there's gonna be life in our city, and it'll be neat because they're going against Joe Flacco, and they're doing the 30th season celebration that day.
They're bringing the Colts back.
Yeah, and there's also the 75 Colts are going to be celebrated. Yep,
100%.
It's going to be a fun
way
to start the season.
No,
I'm for. I
was managing the Ravens radio network.
Even
I
just said this a minute ago. There are things that even I don't have full perspective of.
Yeah,
I have much more perspective of how hopeless we were. That's the part that I don't think. I'm pointing out Griffin just because of his age, but it's not just Griffin. It's anyone of that age group. I don't think anyone can understand how we had given up.
I definitely recognize that I'm spoiled.
Yeah,
and I'm very fortunate.
It wasn't just
matters.
It's one thing to not have a team. It was hopeless.
Yes,
we were not getting a team. The NFL had said F off.
Well, when you drive through
Baltimore.
Jacksonville for the first time, going to a Ravens game, and I'll never forget being on a bus and driving through Jacksonville and looking at it and going, "This
right? Like you wanted this
over top." Over
Remember,
Baltimore.
no one was worried about Jacksonville in the expansion process. It was a joke that Jacksonville and Birmingham were they're like, okay, well, Memphis is a long shot, but Charlotte was at the time a rising city. There was a lot of corporate money.
Yeah.
There was a lot of corporate money in Memphis because of FedEx. FedEx had a ton of corporate money in Memphis that they were pushing.
But Carolina had a ton of corporate
money. Everyone knew Charlotte was a player in expansion. No one. Birmingham and Jacksonville were.
And
this is adorable.
I guess another state did have 3 teams at that time.
California,
but,
right? Yeah.
I mean. It was ridiculous.
Yes, the idea of
Jacksonville.
Jacksonville.
It's a bunch of one-story homes for miles and miles. And
that's
miles
where you're putting. If you're going
know.
there instead of Baltimore, then it's hopeless.
Yeah.
You have
Build a
just
museum, baby.
Exactly right. You have just said you're done, and the miracle of the Baltimore Ravens for those of us that, I was, I'm talking about my father and all the stories that you watched the Colts. I did not watch the Colts.
Yeah.
My father, however, cared deeply.
I mean, my hero was Burt Jones growing up.
Oh yeah, you were just talking about that recently.
Very cool.
Are you going to the?
Oh, yeah, I'll be there.
That's cool.
I'll be
That's
there.
cool. Corral and the Colts
absolutely
event, celebrating the 75
kind of
Colts.
rubbing it in on the Browns a little bit.
What?
I mean, not purposefully, but we're celebrating like 50
Oh, and
years
this
with
is
the Colts.
Yeah,
it's the
right.
30th anniversary.
All
of
of the wonderful
Ravens,
things,
of the Ravens being all the
everything,
good things.
all of the good we
and
have.
The Browns are the first.
We're
and they
gonna-
get to stand there on the sidelines like, hi.
We're
yeah,
gonna cheer for Joe Flacco though, so I mean, like that's.
Once.
Yeah,
When
they'll
he's
get one
first
cheer.
introduced, we'll cheer for Joe
And
Flacco.
then when somebody runs through him to sack him,
Yep.
the cheer will be
We'll
just
be
as loud.
Very excited about that, too.
Okay,
So, yeah,
guys.
all season long we'll be doing that. We'll be
Head in.
catching up with members of the inaugural Ravens
Love
team
that.
all year long and celebrating 30 years of Ravens football, or 30 seasons of Ravens
Just
football.
so you know, 20 years of press box starting in January.
I'm excited about that, too. And I heard we've got some things.
Oh, some things.
Heard we've got some
Had a
things.
meeting this morning. Some things are percolating.
Let's just business handle real quick because I've had people ask about it. We are going to do Project Game Day. I'm still working on a couple of things related to Project Game Day, but Rita and I will be back for sure doing Project Game Day again starting Sunday night. And Griffin, who I know is the real reason everybody tunes in.
It is.
Starting on Sunday night, so come join us after the game. PressBoxOnline.com/game day. It's brought to you by...
It is brought to you by Game Day Men's Health. It is brought to you by the Costas Inn, and it is brought to you by the people at 1-800-GAMBLER.
And HelpMyGamblingProblem.org.
Yeah, if you need some help with gambling, as you're sitting there on your FanDuel poking away on Sunday, if you go,
Griffin and I are getting ready to put a bet in on a return touchdown on Sunday night.
Yeah, this may be a little nuts.
Yeah. I'm definitely putting
a
that bet in.
return touchdown.
We just found out from Sal Capaccio in Buffalo that they've given up return touchdowns in 2 of their last 3 home openers.
3 of the last 4 home.
3 of the last 4 home
Oh
openers.
my.
And of course, the rules change going into this year. So
there's gonna be more of them.
We don't want to see kickoff, or we don't want to see touchbacks because that puts the ball at the 35-yard line. So you're going to put a few more balls in play.
Soon it's good because they don't want people to get hurt, but they want returns. So soon I think it's turning into a rugby scrum at the start of the game. Where they're
Good luck. Whoever comes up with it, that's the way it's going to go.
Okay. Guys.
And then
more business.
Real quick, you guys asked me. I've gotten so many questions about player shows. I think it's safe to say at this point we're not doing a player show.
We're not doing a regular player show.
We are hoping to maybe pull off some events during the course of the year.
We're looking at October, November, and December, and you and I will talk about that soon. But now that the team is solidified, right, we really couldn't do anything until training camp was over. Well, that's what I was told by some folks.
But yeah, we are looking to do some events, and that's
broadcast from them.
There's a million different reasons why a player
part
show.
Part of it is everybody asks about the player show, and you ask those people how many of them they came to, and they're I couldn't make it.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's a little bit part of it. There's a lot. There's a lot of reasons.
Yeah,
there's a
there are.
lot of reasons why. And am I saying it's dead forever? I'm not saying it's dead forever. I'm saying I'm bummed. I'm bummed that we're
player,
not doing
right time.
all of these
right
things. Like everything's got to come together, and we had some really good partners the last few years.
Yep.
But it just didn't come together. So we can talk about it more, but that's the answer. No player show, but we'll be doing some events.
Yes, we will.
We'll
be
and
there'll be player events.
Yeah, during the course of the year.
Okay.
All right. Thank you.
Man.
Appreciate it. When we come back in, we'll get a tidbit. We'll get tubular, and we will wind things down for a Wednesday edition of Glenn Clark Radio. Feeling sluggish, unfocused, or not like yourself? It could be low testosterone. At Game Day Men's Health, we specialize in testosterone replacement therapy to help men boost energy, improve mood, and regain confidence. Our treatments, including testosterone cypionate, are safe, natural, and tailored to fit your lifestyle with weekly injections or pellet therapy. Get started today with a free testosterone test and feel the difference. GameDayMen'sHealth.com. Game Day Men's Health, where men reclaim their game.
For fans of the Costas Inn, and who isn't, I have some great news. Now there's a second location to go along with 4100 North Point Boulevard. This one is at the Timonium OTB. This is Stan the Fan, and I have been a fan of the Costas Inn and Triantafalo's family for going on 30 years. They're open for lunch and dinner. Same great Costas feel, same great menu and quality food you've been enjoying for well over 50 years. The exact address on your GPS is 2200 York Road, and their phone number at the new location is 667-406-1975. If you're new to the Costas experience, get ready for a real treat. All wrapped up in a new spacious dining room in Timonium at the OTB. If you want steamed crabs, you have them, and the full menu at 4100 North Point Boulevard. The number for reservations there at Costas, 410-477-1975.
Get ready, Baltimore. On Saturday, September 6th, the world's top pro cyclists return for the Maryland Cycling Classic, America's top pro road race. Cheer on elite men's and women's teams from around the globe as they battle it out on a brand new circuit through Charm City. Enjoy a free festival, fan zones, and all the action at Harbor Point and the Inner Harbor. Watch live on Maryland Public TV or join the live stream at marylandcyclingclassic.us. Don't miss the speed, the strategy, the spectacle. The Maryland Cycling Classic, September 6th in Baltimore.
Game day gets even better at Live Casino. Score a live jersey on September 6th and bucket hat on September 27th. Plus, catch our big plays, big pays hot seats on select game days. When the home team scores, the prize pool doubles. And we'll give away a $50 sports and social gift card with every touchdown. Take it to the end zone at Live Casino. At Arundel Mills, must be 21. Please play responsibly. For help, visit mdgamblinghelp.org or call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Gambling can be a fun and entertaining experience, but there are risks involved. If you're planning on betting on the game at the casino or on your phone or computer, know your limit, stay within it. Set a budget and a time to stop. Remember, gambling isn't a financial solution, and it doesn't mix well with alcohol or drugs. Know the risks and have a plan before you begin gambling. For free and confidential services, call 1-800-GAMBLER 24/7 or go to helpmygamblingproblem.org.
Make the most out of every day in your Toyota RAV4. Available in hybrid or gas-only models. A RAV4 can get you where you want to go in style. Check out buyatoyota.com for deals on new RAV4s from your local Toyota dealer today.
Coming back in here with Glenn and the other guy, Garrett, whatever his name is. You know who they are.
All right, back in here on GCR as we are winding down on what would have been a Would You Rather Wednesday edition of the program. Again, if you missed it, we are still giving away this very cool Pressbox Flock Yeah t-shirt. But you got to do a little bit of work so that we know that you're like actively watching, listening, participating. All you got to do is reply on Twitter, Blue Sky, or Facebook to the various prompts that we have posted or you can email producer at pressboxonline.com. With the answer, who was man of the match last night? That's it. Do that. You're registered to win. You could be the winner of that T-shirt. And perhaps there'll be other opportunities for you to win very cool Pressbox T-shirts in the coming weeks and months. CountySports.zone is where you find everything you need to know about high school sports here in the state of Maryland. Season's underway. Get all the info right now, CountySports.zone. John, John, I feel this. He said, I was crushed the night they announced Jacksonville was getting a team. Brutal time. I would tell you, 10-year-old Glenn Clark cried. Because I was so excited. My father and I were talking about it constantly. We're going to go to games together. I'm going to understand what he felt about the Colts. I cried, wept, listening to the radio that night. Killed me that Baltimore wasn't going to get a team. And that was the fall of 93, so less than 3 years later, the inaugural game in Baltimore Ravens history. Impossible. Just impossible. It's an incredible story, and that's why we're going to do this all year long. Really kind of crazy sports story that popped up this morning, and I don't have a lot to add. Pablo Torre continues his hot streak. Jeez. That guy's hotter than Tate McRae. He puts out there, I watched the short version. I haven't watched the full Pablo Torre finds out about it, but I watched the short version, this 4-minute video that Griffin has up. Apparently there have been some rumblings over the years about how the Clippers ended up landing Kawhi Leonard in free agency. And Pablo Torre presents an awful lot of evidence that suggests that the answer has a little bit to do with them circumventing the salary cap. That apparently there was this tree company. It's called Aspiration, correct, was the name of the tree company. And they signed a marketing deal with Kawhi Leonard's LLC that required him to do nothing. Nothing. Just collect money. That's what he had to do. And they talked to employees of it is unbelievable. And this is journalistic work, man. from Pablo Torre related to this, and I don't know what the fallout will be with the NBA and what it'll mean for Kawhi Leonard, what it might mean for the Clippers, and there still feels like there's a few I's that need to be dotted and T's that need to be crossed, but boy, it is really hard after you, and I just watched the short version. I didn't even watch the long version. Like, if you watch the short version of Pablo Torre finds out, it's really hard to think there is anything other than a serious circumvention of the salary cap involving the Clippers. And I remember there being something like the Patriots paid Tom Brady's charity a good amount of money, and there were some questions about that, but hey, it was a charity. If the bookkeeping says that the money didn't go to Tom Brady, then this has always been something I've wondered about over the years, is what there are certain people that are so hell-bent about winning that you just have to assume they'll do anything, and maybe you could say there's some irony that it was the Clippers that were hell-bent about winning, because, remind me, Griffin, they've won how many NBA titles?
I believe they've won the same as you and I.
Now, but they've made it to the NBA Finals.
Did they? I don't think
Oh,
they
right.
did.
No,
Yeah.
they didn't do that either. Right.
I was like, shoot.
So, like, there's some irony in, like, if imagine you going this far out of it. Like, the word was it was like an additional $7 million per year that Kawhi Leonard was being paid to do no marketing for this tree company. And yet, the other weird part about it is, like, they had other, like, if you watch the Pablo Torre thing, Robert Downey Jr. was doing advertising for this tree company. They had other very prominent spokespeople.
Well, he's just a big Clippers fan, so he wanted to make sure that Kawhi would play for his team.
Wild, man. Very wild. But yeah, that's certainly a major story that's unfolding. And boy, Pablo Torre doing what? Real journalism.
Thank you, Andrew Stecca. Yeah.
What? What did he say?
He said Pablo's Pod is the only other podcast I never miss an episode of. Of course, this one.
Well, obviously, we're right up there with Pablo Torre fans. We are also doing important journalistic work here. Like, anyway, yeah, man. One time I did break a major story about when a Chick-fil-A item was being launched. I was given inside
By
scoop.
accident, or this was like...
No, a source gave me the information, and I broke the news. Actually, the only real breaking news is the 1 year that nobody knew when John... On this show, I don't like breaking news on this show.
Maybe it would help.
Well, yeah, it's weird because I'm not in a place to, like, go track down 3-4 sources. Like, the stuff that you would have to do as a reporter to feel confident, I'm just not in a place to do that here.
Well, we can do it the TMZ style way, and just... Did you see they shared the clip of when they broke the Hulk news?
No.
It was just like it happened in like 60 seconds, and they were like they quit.
They also have a large staff of people.
I know.
That
well, that's what I mean. You and I should
go to
start doing
work.
that.
Yeah.
We should just be like, call this guy, call this guy, call this guy, call this guy.
I remember that I broke a story about John Harbaugh's contract once because like there were 3 different stories about how no one actually knew when John Harbaugh's contract was up, and I was just like, well, that's weird. And I don't remember. It was maybe right before they drafted Lamar Jackson. So I just got the answer. Like, I just called the people I needed to call and got the answer. And then I remember how bitter a couple of reporters were. They were like, well, everybody knew that. And I'm like, that's weird because you wrote a story that said we don't know exactly when Lamar Jackson's contract. No, it was definitely not Bo. It was not Bo at all. But there were a couple people that were. And I was just like, are you for real right now? Like, for real? That his contract was up at the end of the year. And then, like, within a week, the Ravens had given him another year. They had tacked on another year on the contract. So it was kind of a non-story. But it was a story at the moment.
They
that
added on another year to spite you.
It's funny because I did involve the Ravens in the reporting that I did. I'm like, look, I don't know what you want to say. And someone that I respect and trust over there just called me back and said, look, man, we know you're going to put it out there. That's cool. And literally the exact quote was, just be aware, Steve loves John. Steve loves John. And so they were, in a way, trying to tell me that, like, it wasn't really a story that he was going into the final year of his contract because they knew that it wasn't going to be the final year of his contract. But they weren't going to give me that. They weren't going to say, hey, you can break that. We're going to tack on another year to the deal. They were just trying to, and I'll give them credit that they were trying to give me the heads up that, like, hey, this isn't as significant as it might seem that it is, that John's going into the final year of his contract, because Steve loves John. That was literally the exact quote. Glenn, Steve loves John.
And you just never wanted to feel the rush of breaking news again.
No, it requires real work, and that's why I respect.
You don't want to be on your phone in the shower, even though you probably are anyway.
Great respect for what Pablo Torre does. I remember the day that I was working the Anquan Bolden trade, because that was back when I was a reporter, and I obviously had the major connection to Anquan Bolden because I knew him in Arizona. So when I first got wind of it and I was on the phone with him, I had an event. I was supposed to do something I was working at XM. I had another job at XM, and I was working in D.C., and it was a huge problem for me because it was a legitimate, during the day, 2 to 2.5 hour drive. And I am, texts are coming in. I'm trying to both do that and drive at the same time. It was a huge problem for me that day, working the Anquan Bolden story. And then I technically wasn't the one to break it. I just had Anquan Bolden on the phone 2 minutes after the trade went down, and I got the first quotes and response from Anquan Bolden. We did break what day the UMBC was opening their new arena. That was a huge breaking news story.
On you and Drew, or
no, on this show, on this show. But that was, I think I can say now, someone at UMBC who was very frustrated with the fact that the school hadn't just announced that it was going to. Remember, this is the year they ultimately beat Virginia.
Oh, that was the same.
It was the same season, and it was the Vermont game. The home Vermont game was when they had targeted, because they weren't going to have it done in time to open the season in the building, but they didn't want to wait till the next year. And so the Vermont game was always the biggest game on the schedule for UMBC. And if you remember right, they got pasted by Vermont at home in the first game at the new arena. But
what did they name it originally?
I don't remember.
It's your story.
I don't remember. But I remember getting a call from someone who at UMBC was very frustrated by we're doing this. We're playing the Vermont game in the new building. It feels like we should let people know. And I was like, okay, were you asking me to let people know? He's like, well, we haven't announced it yet. I'm like, well, what is this? He's like, all right, you can tell people. I'm like, well, am I saying the school is saying that, or no, you're saying that? Okay, you got it. And there have been a few others. I think a couple times I had the Whip Snakes have given me some information and I've shared it. But there have been a few others that were like that over the years. But I think the biggest was probably the Harbaugh one. I think somebody might remind me of one that I had completely forgotten. I used to be more active on Cut Down Day. On Cut Down Day, I was way more active. But that was legitimately me just texting with agents and play. The Ravens weren't giving me anything. It was just I would text a guy. Did you make the team? Yep. Thanks, buddy. That was all that was. So I used to be really active on Cut. But I can't think of anybody that was noteworthy that I really can't from Cut Down Day. I did that for a few years. How did we get here? Oh, Pablo Torre. Yeah, right? Yeah. He's very good at this.
So basically,
he and I.
You guys are neck and neck.
Exactly right.
He's got maybe one extra story over you.
Yeah,
maybe.
That's otherwise exact same. There are a few that there are a bunch over the years that I've had that I couldn't report for one reason or another. Either because I wasn't comfortable, I didn't have it fully vetted, or because there were maybe business interests involved, or perhaps the people that I was working for did not want me to. There have been a bunch over the years that I've definitely had, but just couldn't do anything with. The really funny one, the year that Terrell Suggs tore his ACL. I had that. I was drunk.
Wow.
Drunk.
So that's what ruined it.
I was at the Kentucky Derby. I had not gone to bed the night before until
Who ended up breaking it? Do you remember?
I want to say Vinny got it, which was crazy. We got Dominique Foxworth the year he got hurt. We got that from a caller. A caller was like, because all anybody knew is that Dominique Foxworth had gotten hurt at practice the day before, because that was when training camp was out in Westminster, and so everybody was there. And we got a call that morning from a caller who was like, that's torn ACL, right? And I was like, all right, well, we can't just say that. And he's like, dude, it's a torn ACL. I'm telling you that. I know it. I'm not guessing. That's a torn ACL. And I was like, all right. So I fired off a text to someone at the Ravens, and they didn't, in fact, confirm before us. But yeah, we got the Terrell Suggs one. And the guy that told me, and it's somebody that I've remained friends with to this day. He started messaging me at like 4 a.m, dude, and he sent
like back in there. I'm trying to think of
he sent follow-up texts that said, "Do not let someone else get this. I'm giving it to you. Do not screw this up." Like, they were follow-up.
So
like, there was a string of messages from this person, and we've joked about it since then, and like, he always laughs with me. I don't think that he would mind if I said who it was, but I don't know that, so I'm not going to do it. But like, we've laughed about it over the years because I was legitimately, I have no excuse other than I was drunk. I was pissed drunk being out at the
Let us all
Kentucky
down.
Derby. And so, yeah, I missed the being the one to report I think the good news everybody would associate with me that Terrell Suggs had torn his ACL. All right, let's get a tidbit. Tidbit is brought to you today by Live Casino and Hotel Maryland, the best place to watch all the big sporting events, including all football season long, plus Canelo Crawford coming up, among other major events. Inside Sports and Social at Live Casino and Hotel.
Into the quarterfinals for the what's the tournament they're playing? Oh,
the U.S. Open.
The
You're
US
familiar
Open.
with that?
So two female tennis players are into the quarterfinals, and they made.
There are more than two female tennis players in the quarterfinals.
Can you listen to the tidbit? Do you want
I'm
to
just
play the game or not?
The way you said it, you said there are two female
Because
tennis
I didn't
players
finish
into
the
the
thought.
quarterfinals.
Can I start cutting you off every time?
Kind of
that you're,
moved
like,
into a
halfway
different
through,
thought
halfway
about the
through
way
it?
they listed it.
I
You
said
had
two
moved on.
players are into the quarterfinals for the U.S. Open. They've made the quarters for each major this year. Yes, it's the first time this has happened since 2005.
Men's and women's, or
no,
men's?
just on the women's side.
Just on the
first time this
women's
has happened on
side.
the women's side that at least two players.
Well, we know two that are already into the semifinals on the
I
women's
know, I guess
side.
I'm like a day late on this one.
You are a little bit late on this, as I'm going to Arena Sabalenka has
Yes.
made the quarterfinals of every.
She has.
And the other one is I don't. I mean, is it Iga?
It is Iga.
Yeah.
Yes. Sabalenka and Swiatek are both into the quarterfinals.
Sabalenka
2005.
we know is into the semifinals.
Okay,
As,
got it.
What's her face pulled out last night? They didn't even play. She didn't even
that's
play.
right.
A
Yeah. Vu something.
Vondrasova, was that who it was?
Yeah,
Is that who it was?
It started with a V. I know
Yeah,
that.
Vondrasova.
It wasn't Vekic.
No, it wasn't Donna Vekic. Who was coached by Pam Shriver.
First time this has happened on the women's side since 2005, at least.
And who are you asking me who the two players were in
Two
2005?
players to make the quarters in every major.
I mean, I'll assume Serena.
No.
Venus.
No.
Justine Enna.
No.
Okay. Martina Hingis.
No.
2005. Lindsay Davenport.
Lindsay Davenport was one of them. Yes.
How about Kim Clijsters?
No. She was because 2003. This also happened. She was one half of this
Okay.
duo in 2003. I wasn't gonna ask you 2003, but
Sam Stoser?
no. You're making up names.
No, I'm certainly not. 2005.
You'll probably kick yourself, I guess.
I'll probably kick myself.
Well, it's a name that I know, so
Well, okay. Well, if it's a name you know, then.
it's a name that's not Williams that I know. Yeah, so.
Name it's not Williams that Griffin knows. Sharapova?
Right, Maria Sharapova and Davenport. So the last time that a pair of women made it to each quarters of all four majors.
Okay.
Yeah, all right. I was gonna.
And who else was 2003? You said it was.
It was Clijsters and Hennon.
Well, I said Enna.
That's how you pronounce it.
Yeah, that's
okay.
who that was.
All right, well, then there you go.
All right,
and then 3 in 2002 was Capriati.
Oh, Jennifer Capriati did have an amazing 2002.
Celes and Venus.
Okay.
Year. Yeah.
Very good.
All right. I was gonna do another top 100 thing, but I guess we're good. Unless you want to. I was gonna do. There's 10 running backs in the top 100.
Oh, God damn it! All right, fine. Derrick Henry.
You just want to try to go in order?
No, Saquon's number 1. I do know that.
Saquon's 1.
Derrick
Henry's
Henry.
2.
I have no idea who would be 3. it's still somehow Christian McCaffrey.
No, but he is in the 10.
Okay.
McCaffrey is 7th.
Jahmyr Gibbs.
Jahmyr Gibbs is number 3, and he was not ranked last year in the top 100.
How about there's 6 more. Kyron Williams.
He is in there, yes. I think he's like 9th, maybe. No, 8th.
Jonathan Taylor.
I believe I saw his name on the list. No JT.
Okay. Bijan.
Yes, Bijan Robinson.
Still
6.
somehow Kamara.
No.
Okay. How about, it's just hard to know who the players, like Josh Jacobs.
Yes, Josh Jacobs is on there. He is number 4.
God, we're going to do a 2-hour show. Aaron Jones.
What we can end after this. Yes, Aaron Jones is, I believe, is 10th.
And I'm still missing 1, 2.
Yeah.
I'm still missing 2.
Yeah, 2. Missing 9.
How about
5. I don't really agree with 5.
James Conner?
Not James Conner.
Breece Hall?
Not James Conner. Or sorry, did I say that right?
What?
Not James Conner.
Oh, because
Did I emphasize the wrong word?
that was very smooth. I'm trying to think of other Connors.
Yeah.
In the NFL, I'm like, was John? Remember there was a fullback whose name was John Connor.
No.
The Terminator, right? Like there was a fullback. All right. So James Cook is obviously who you're talking about,
9th.
and then
number 5. I mean
Isaiah
yes.
Pacheco.
No, this guy wasn't ranked last
Joe
year.
Mixon.
Yeah, Joe Mixon.
Okay,
he's in the top 100, number 58 overall. He's
Very
the
good.
5th-rated running back.
Here's what's coming up tubular-wise. Tubular is brought to you by Game Day Men's Health in Owings Mills, Columbia, and Frederick. I had somebody reach out to me yesterday because you know who was talking about Game Day Men's Health
Your
was
boy, right?
Yeah, I'm not. I don't know anything about him. Kyle Busch was talking about NASCAR driver Kyle Busch said, "For the first time in my life, I won a race I didn't want to win. The wife decided I need a little tune-up at Game Day Men's Health to get back on track. The guys and gals at the clinic got me back on top and finishing second." All right, I don't know about that part of it, but I get it. Just like his wife likes it. Boy, he really went for it, huh? He really went for it.
Take notes, I guess.
Get back in the game with a complimentary test and consultation at a game day clinic near you. With over 400 clinics across the country, there are no excuses. Every day is game day. And legit, man, like, I'm just telling you, for me, it wasn't ED. It was not bedroom performance. That was the reason why I ended up. And if it was, I would be honest about that. Kyle Busch certainly was honest about it. For me, it was just feeling sluggish. It was feeling run down and worried that I was low T. I was getting tired, and it didn't feel right. And that happens when you get into your 40s. You're a man of a certain age. Things are not the same as they were when you were in your 20s. And so I thought I might be low T. It wasn't the case. I just needed peptide proteins, and they've been a game changer for me. GameDayMen'sHealth.com is the website. GameDayMen'sHealth.com, or you can give them a call first at Game Day Men's Health, Owings Mills, 443-264-4454, Columbia, 443-266-3505, Frederick, 240-931-3717 for Game Day Men's Health. Here's what's coming up tubular-wise. Cade Povich on the mound late afternoon, 4:10 first pitch for Game 3 against the Padres.
Did we mention Trevor Rogers, American League Pitcher of the Month?
Oh, congratulations to Trevor Rogers. Nestor Cortez goes for the Padres today. The rest of the quarterfinals today on ESPN, it's Ager Aliassime, Daminar first up. And then coming up after that, the only American in play today is Amanda Anisimova. By the way, how'd that Taylor Fritz bet work out for you?
It didn't work out. I mean, I thought
You started buying in. When he won the third set, you were like, oh, man, it's happening.
And then he was hanging
Djokovic is 100 years old. He's going to wear down. He's not going.
When's that guy going to die?
He's not getting peptide treatment. Game Day Men's Health. He's going to wear down. Told you.
God, I need to dance afterwards. God.
And Amanda Anisimova, Iga Swiatek. Good luck, Amanda. That's second today. And then tonight, Muhova Osaka. And then the all-Italian quarterfinal, Sinner and Musetti Last up. Yeah, exactly right. Gabagool, the whole thing.
We can't lose today.
Everything else, find at GlennClarkRadio.com. Anything non-sports-wise?
Yeah, there's a few things. I guess it's Mulder's MasterChef, new episode of Man and Knock. Wednesday.
It's got to be really sad for Tommy DeVito that he got kicked out of New York right before there was an all-Italian final at the quarterfinal at the U.S. Open.
For him.
Right? Would have been a big day.
Wednesday, Season 2, Part B on Netflix.
Am I going to be able to follow?
I don't know.
Don't know.
Lilo and Stitch is streaming on Disney Plus now. So
I don't know if my kids saw that or not. I think their grandmother might have taken them to see it.
Yeah, they had to have, because I think it's like the highest-grossing movie of the year.
It is.
At Lilo and Stitch. So that's streaming now if you still haven't seen it. Mark Ruffalo and Carmelo Anthony will be on Colbert tonight.
Obviously plugging. Carmelo Anthony is joining the Avengers. A lot of people don't know that.
Mark Ruffalo, he's christening him on Colbert?
He's joining. He's one of the new Avengers.
This
weekend is the Basketball Hall of Fame induction ceremony.
Yeah. David Byrne and Steve Buscemi on Fallon.
Also, both joining the Avengers.
Really?
Yeah, it's crazy.
Good for them. How about Spike Lee and Rainn Wilson?
It's crazy. They're all joining the Avengers.
There's no
Rainn
way.
Wilson plugging the paper despite the fact that he's not?
No, he is in, it's called Code 3.
Is that today, the paper?
No, it's Friday, I think.
It is?
It's either tomorrow or Friday. It's Thursday. I think it's Friday. Rainn Wilson's in this movie called Code 3, where he's like a paramedic on an ambulance, and it's like his last shift, and he's training a young EMT.
Okay.
It looks funny. Lil Rel Howery is in it.
Oh, I do like Lil Rel Howery.
So is Rob Riggle. But it's in theaters, so I'm not sure how well it'll do. But
maybe I did see. Actually, I might have seen a trailer.
I hadn't heard
of
it until this week, so I don't know. And then finally, of course, Mark Hamill and Andrew Santino. Are they joining?
Everybody's joining the Avengers. That's the entire night.
Why
this is the new cast. All of them. I know you thought that the Thunderbolts were going to be the Avengers, but that's not true. Okay. This is the group. It's really amazing.
Right.
Yeah. All of them joining them. Tomorrow for the paper, by the way.
Okay.
That's the date. All right, thanks today to Jermaine Lewis. Thanks also to Sal Capaccio. We'll get that up in the greatest hits section of the
Aspiration.
That was so half-assed.
What do you mean it's half-assed?
Tab at GlennClarkRadio.com.
Should I say it weirder or like?
Yeah. Tomorrow on the program, Devin McCourty is joining us with Ravens, Bills, obviously on NBC on Sunday night. We'll catch up with him.
And then James Palmer.
James Palmer from The Athletic, who also thinks the Ravens are winning the Super Bowl, and we'll make some picks.
One of the smart ones.
That's right. Thanks to everybody. Reed and I did a picks preview, a predictions episode. Just predictions.
Oh.
This is a very special bonus Reed and Glenn because we can't do a full episode this week. I'm waking up at 4 o'clock half the days.
She's doing radio business.
She's throwing, yeah, I know, right? Half-assing it. Kayla put a lot of work into this episode. I couldn't believe how much work Kayla put into this episode. Rita's got her event kicking off the season tomorrow night, the Gridiron Gals kickoff party. So we wanted to get something for you that's in the greatest hits, and youtube.com/@Rita and Glenn. That's where you can find it. Thanks to everybody at PressBox, all of our great sponsors and partners, including Game Day Men's Health, as well as County Sports Zone, your local Toyota dealer, buyatoyota.com. Costas Inn, Live Casino and Hotel, the Maryland 5-Star, Nick's Fish House, 1-800-GAMBLER, helpmygamblingproblem.org, and the Maryland Cycling Classic. Thanks to Griffin at Griffin_Bass. Follow us, Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok at Glenn Clark Radio.
I'm looking at pictures of the Terminator. Yeah, he was.
John
Connor.
John Connor?
Yeah, he was the Terminator.
Oh,
I guess I should have pulled
there was, I want to say he went to Pitt. I don't remember who he was playing for, but I swear to God, like, I'm not going to say who it was, but one of the guys that was on the Ravens beat that year said, dare me to call John Connor the Terminator when we talked to John Harbaugh today. And I was like, why would I care? Why would I possibly dare you? And I swear he did it. He was like, you guys are going to be facing John Connor, the Terminator, this week. And it was like a fullback. It was like a ho-hum fullback. And I was just, boy, these guys, these beat writers, they are dangerous, baby. Never know what these guys will do. Sorry. Have a great Wednesday evening. Go Birds. Duke sucks.